Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to our cozy little corner of the internet. I'm Pen and today I'll be reading chapter 6 of Turning Tide by Pretty Bean. Hope you guys enjoy and let's get right into the fic. Chapter 6, The Truth. Darzai didn't get much sleep that night, too busy trying to think of how he could save Tria or at the very least help him. But he didn't even have an idea of what was going on other than it all had to do with Mori. Darzai got out of bed. It was 6 in the morning. He decided to wash his face off, trying to calm the storm inside his mind before getting dressed. He walked towards the kitchen area, grabbing the letter and heading out the door. Darzai walked towards the agency much earlier than he normally would. The streets were much quieter. For once, Darzai found the silence suffocating. Darzai, what's got you going around so early? Kenji said, waving and walking over towards Darzai, a smile on his face. You're normally late? Well, want to walk to the agency with me? Kenji started to walk off before Darzai could even answer him. Yeah, I'll walk with you, Darzai said, sliding his hands into his pockets, catching up to Kenji. Kenji and Darzai walked up the stairs to the agency. Once Kenji had made it to the door, he pushed it open. Good morning, he exclaimed, a large smile on his face. Good morning, Kenji, Yoshino said, smiling back at the boy. Oh, good morning to you as well, Darzai, she said, after seeing Darzai walk into the agency behind Kenji. What's got you here so early? Yoshino said, walking towards him. Meh, I was just up and had nothing to do. Darzai shrugged his shoulders. Too bad Kunikita isn't here yet. I would have loved to annoy him, Darzai said, walking towards his desk. Yoshino watched him, a slight smile on her face, shaking her head as the man walked away. About 30 minutes later, Atsushi, along with Kyoko, walked in through the door. Good morning, everyone, Atsushi said, starting to walk towards his desk, Kyoko following. Huh? You're here today early, Darzai-san? Atsushi said, a bit of confusion on his face. Ah, don't worry about it, Atsushi, Darzai said, giving him a light pat on the head. Darzai-san? Kyoko said, as Atsushi walked over towards Yoshino. What's up, Kyoko? Darzai said, turning towards the girl. You went to see Trioni yesterday, right? She paused. Darzai nodded his head. Is he okay? She asked, very visibly worried. Darzai placed her hand on her head gently. He'll be okay. You want to know why? Kyoko nodded her head. 'Cause we're gonna save him, Darzai said, leaning back in his chair, with a smile on both of their faces. Over with Yoshino and Atsushi. Hey kid, need something? Yoshino asked, seeing the younger walk over to her. Atsushi nodded. I'm just worried about Darzai-san and Kyoko-chan. Both of them care a lot about Nakahara-san, and I'm not sure about Darzai, but he paused, looking towards Kyoko. I know that she didn't sleep very well last night, Atsushi said, looking back towards Yoshino. Yoshino took a breath, placing a hand on his shoulder. Well, then, we're just going to have to make sure our friends are okay, won't we? She said, removing her hand from his shoulder and walking over to the pair. Kenji, who had just been sitting at his desk, staring at his plant, decided to join Atsushi and Yoshino along with the others. What's this about saving Tria? Yoshino asked, walking over with Atsushi. Saving Miss Fancy Hat? Okay, let's do it, Kenji said, excited about anything that had to do with the man. Kyoko nodded quite quickly at that. Well, first you have to get this approved by the president, which means it getting approved by Rampo and Kunikita as well, Darzai said, sighing. Rampo would surely agree easily, but Kunikita? Darzai wasn't so sure. What about Tanizaki? Atsushi asked, tilting his head. Just as Atsushi said that, the two siblings walked through the door. Hey guys, Tanizaki said, walking his way over with his sister. Hi Tanizaki, Naomi, Atsushi said, giving them a wave. Say, Tanizaki, Darzai paused. Tanizaki looking over towards him. What do you say about helping out Tria? Darzai said. Tanizaki thought about it. Well, Nakahara seems like a pretty nice guy, so if he needs our help, why not? Tanizaki shrugged his shoulders. Naomi nodding beside him, showing her agreement. Just then, two people walked out of the president's office. "Hey, don't have a party without me," Rumpo called out. "What are we talking about?" he said, pulling himself into the conversation. "Hey, Rumpo-san, we're just talking about saving Nakahara-san," Atsushi said, quickly answering Rumpo. "Saving Nakahara? From what?" Kunakita said, crossing his arms. Dazai gasped. "You were here the whole time?" Kunakita gave him a glare. Okay, we all agree that something's going on with the Port Mafia, right?" Dazai said, and everyone nodded. "Well, it has to do with something with Mr. Fancy Hat's situation as the new boss," Rumpo said, taking the explanation from Dazai. "Yep," Dazai said, giving a slight nod. "Right, but what do we do?" Kunakita says, somewhat understanding the reason why they have to save him, but not how. "Well, as of right now, I've got zero leads as to what might be wrong," Yosuna said, crossing her arms, expecting him to, if anyone, to have any clue. "Actually, I found this," Dazai said, pulling out the letter out of his pocket and sliding it over to Yosuna. Yosuna read it, quickly handing it over to Rumpo when she was done. Atsushi, Kunakita, and Tanizaki peeked over their shoulders to read it. "This is worse than I thought. If Mori is involved in where this is going to be a pain." Yosuna sighs, brushing her fingers through her hair. "Mori?" Kyoka said, looking towards Dazai, who takes the letter back from Rumpo and hands it towards her. "Well, it makes sense," Kyoka said, looking back towards Dazai. "It does?" he asks, curious about what Kyoka knows about this. "I don't remember it all exactly," she said, looking towards Dazai, asking silently if she could continue. He gives her a nod. "Koyoni talked about Mori having violent morals, even willing to harm himself to get what he wants," she finished. The other agency members were in a bit of shock. No way, a Port Mafia boss wouldn't care about his own life. I mean, I wouldn't put it past him, that's for sure." Yoshino speaks up, snapping the others out of their racing thoughts. "Yeah, I could believe that, but if he's dead, what can he achieve?" Dazai said, looking towards Rumpo, hoping for an answer. "I don't think Mori is actually dead," Rumpo said, crossing his arms. "I suppose that would make sense. Can't have a funeral if a person isn't really dead," Tanizaki said, thinking about it. "But to fake your death so well, it has to be impossible, even for Mori," Yoshino said, still not totally believing it. "It will take time for the situation to come in view." The president steps into the room where everyone is. "President," they all said in unison, giving a bow. He gives them a nod. I've heard some of your conversation, and I agree that we need to at least help Nakahara," he said, walking over towards them. "And about Mori not being dead?" Rumpo asks, knowing the president knew him quite well. "I can't say for sure. I don't doubt you, Rumpo, but I also don't doubt that man," he says, giving a nod to Rumpo. Yoshino lets out a sigh. There's just so much we don't know. Who could we even start to ask?" she said, looking towards Dazai and Kyoka, them knowing the Mafia better than anyone else here. "Well, Tria's off the table. Gin won't speak, even if she would. I don't think she knows much, based on what Okutagawa doesn't know much either. The question is who has seen his body. They probably know the most," Dazai said, starting to ramble but catching himself. "Well, who was that other person in the meeting with Tria? Who was the other person with Tria at the meeting? I know Koyo-san, but I'm unfamiliar with the other," Atsushi said, starting to think maybe the other person could help. "Ah, you mean Valorine," Dazai said. "I'm not sure if he could help us, but it could sure be worth a try," Dazai said, looking over towards Rumpo, silently asking for his opinion. "Based on the meeting, Valorine, or whatever Mr. Fancy Hat's right man is, or whatever, is Mr. Fancy Hat's right-hand man. If Maury is pulling some sort of strings, it's possible that he's caught up with it too. Rumpo says, trying to come up with anyone else they could talk to. We could try talking to Koyo, Yoshino said, giving a shrug. That might be our only choices for now, but how are we going to contact her? Kunikita said, looking around at everyone. Almost everyone was unsure, but the two geniuses looked towards Kyoka. We never removed her phone contacts, Dazai said, looking towards Rumpo. So she should still have Koyo's number, Rumpo said, looking back at Dazai. Is that okay with you, Kyoka? We can call her from a different phone, Atsushi asked, worried about Kyoka. It's fine, Atsushi, don't worry, she said, giving Atsushi a slight smile. Sorry to interrupt, but I'll let you get back to your conversation soon. The president spoke, everyone turning towards him. But I wish to speak to Dazai and Rumpo in my office. The members of the agency bowed, Rumpo and Dazai following Fukazawa into his office. What do you want to talk about, President? Rumpo said, a slight smile on his face. Fukazawa took a breath. I wanted to talk about our plans with the Mafia. He paused. The other two gave a nod. I understand that you have a pretty strong want to help out Nakahara, but you'd have to understand this could cause a war, the president said, a serious look on his face. I understand, President. If you wish to take the agency out of this, feel free to, but at least allow them to help me plan. I'm going to save Chuya, no matter what, Dazai said, giving a slight bow before turning up with a serious face. I might not care about the Mafia that much, but I do know the other members of the agency do, Rumpo said, looking towards the president, who gave him a nod. If a war has to happen, so be it. We're saving Chuya. Rumpo held a serious face. The president gave them a nod. I see you both have strong determination. I approve of this mission, officially. Fukazawa gave them both a nod. You are both dismissed, unless you have any questions. Both of them shook their heads, walking out of the office. Gosh, that was a bore, Rumpo said, crossing his arms. Right? Like, of course we're going to do this mission no matter what, he said. Dazai said, hands behind his head. They both walked towards the main part of the agency to meet back up with the others and discuss their further plans. Okay, everyone, that was chapter 6. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I did a lot. The next chapter is a little interesting, so I hope you guys, not a little, it's quite interesting. This whole fic is, actually. So, I hope you guys stay around for that. If you're viewing this in the past and I've already recorded more videos, yada yada yada. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to take care of yourself, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!